All right, let's tee off on today's deep dive. We're going to be taking a swing at a secret weapon that a lot of the pros use, routines.
Interesting you say secret weapon. It really is an edge that people can develop. And what I find really interesting is that most of us already have routines kind of ingrained in our daily lives, whether we actually realize it or not.
That's true. Think about it. Like, how many times have you driven to work, got there, and been like, whoa, I don't even remember that trip?
Exactly. That's the power of a routine, right? Our brains basically love to automate actions to save energy.
Makes sense. But how does that, how does that apply to golf?
Well, imagine you're stepping up to the tee box. Maybe you're feeling, bit of pressure, a little nervous, and all of a sudden your swing feels clunky and awkward.
Yeah.
Chances are you've actually slipped into a negative routine without even knowing it.
It's like we're on autopilot even when we're on the golf course.
Exactly. And just like that mindless drive to work, sometimes our golf routines can take us in the wrong direction,
Okay, so then how do we actually gain control? How do we build better routines to improve our game?
Yeah. So it's not about becoming robotic, right? It's about creating a framework that sets you up for success. And a lot of golfers, they get really caught up in like the mechanics of their swing during practice, but they're missing a crucial element. It's like they're just focused on the mechanics.
Well, what's the missing element? I'm all ears.
The missing element is the mental game.
Okay.
Routines aren't just about physical actions. They're about creating mental consistency.
Okay.
And think about it this way. Your brain loves shortcuts.
Yeah.
So by establishing a routine, you're basically creating a mental shortcut to a consistent swing. You're essentially freeing up your mind to focus on the shot itself rather than getting bogged down in those technicalities.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying it's almost like you're building a well-paved road to a perfect swing.
Exactly.
And the more you travel that road, the smoother, the more automatic it becomes.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. It's all about repetition, consistency.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. This concept of mental routines. It applies not only to your pre-shot setup, but to what you do after you hit the ball.
Especially after a bad shot.
Oh, especially after a bad shot.
That's when I feel like I need it the most.
We all struggle with that. So the expert we're drawing from, he has a fascinating technique for this.
Okay.
He suggests immediately after a bad shot, you set up again.
Okay.
Same spot.
Yeah.
And you take the swing you intended to make.
Really? So like instead of dwelling on it and getting frustrated, you're saying just kind of pretend like it never happened and try it again.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Because what's fascinating here is the science behind it. So by immediately overriding that memory of that bad swing with the correct movement, you're essentially rewiring your neural pathways. You're telling your brain, this is the swing I want to remember. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Almost like tricking your body into, forgetting the bad one and remember the good one instead.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
And to enhance this process, the expert also recommends incorporating controlled breathing and movements into your post-shot routine.
Okay.
And this helps to further reinforce the memory of that correct swing in your nervous system.
Gotcha. So, okay, this is making sense. But, I mean, we all know even the greatest golfers struggle with self-doubt and pressure.
Absolutely.
So can routines really help with that? Like, is that something that...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, think about legendary golfer Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
Incredible mental fortitude on the course.
Yeah.
He attributed a lot of his success to sticking to his routine no matter what.
Really? I mean, did you ever talk about, like, how he used his routine? Or...
Yeah. He did. He actually said, and this is a quote from him, "Plain willpower. You just have to force other thoughts aside. Make yourself think exclusively about your aim and alignment and your ball position and your posture. Make yourself do what you know is right in those areas and make yourself keep on doing it time and time again, even though it doesn't seem to be working. If you have enough resolution, they will ultimately begin to work."
Wow, that's really powerful. So even at his level, he still struggled with those same things.
He did.
But he had this system, to help him push through it.
Yeah. If you connect this to the bigger picture, routines provide a framework for staying focused and in control regardless of the pressure.
Makes sense.
It's like having a mental game plan to fall back on when the going gets tough.
So it sounds like routines are more than just mindless repetition.
Absolutely.
They're like a tool to actually build both physical and mental consistency in your game.
Yeah. You got it. And the best part is you can apply this to any aspect of your game. From your pre-shot setup, your post-shot analysis, and even your practice sessions.
This is really interesting. I think this is making me rethink how I approach my game.
That's great to hear.
So where do we begin? How can our listeners start incorporating these ideas into their game?
It all starts with awareness.
Okay, yeah. So how do we become more aware of our routines, especially those bad habits we've picked up along the way?
Well, the first step is observation. Take some time to really pay attention to what you're doing before and after each shot. Are you rushing through your pre-shot routine? Are you dwelling on your mistakes? Are you letting those negative thoughts creep in?
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of self-reflection is in order.
Yeah. Once you have a clear picture of your current routines, then you can start to, identify areas for improvement. Maybe you need to slow down and focus on your breathing before each shot, or perhaps you need a more structured post-shot routine to help process those misses.
So it's about recognizing those moments where we're just going through the motions
Yeah.
and finding ways to be more present and intentional.
Absolutely. And remember, building better routines, it isn't about becoming a robot.
Right.
It's about finding what works best for you and your game.
Okay, so there's no magic formula, no one-size-fits-all approach.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Experiment with different techniques and see what feels right. Some golfers find that incorporating visualization or positive self-talk into their routines helps them stay focused and confident. Others benefit from a more structured approach with specific steps for each stage of their routine.
So it's like creating your own personalized recipe for success.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to adjust your routine as you go.
Yeah.
It's all about constantly evaluating and refining your approach to find what helps you perform at your best.
Okay, this is great, but I'm a little overwhelmed.
Sure.
Where do we even start?
Well, the best advice I can give is to start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire routine overnight. Just choose one aspect. Maybe it's your grit, your stance, simply taking a deep breath before each shot, and commit to improving that one element.
Focus on the small wins.
Yeah.
They can build over time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And remember, consistency is key.
Yeah.
The more you practice your routine, the more ingrained it will become.
Okay.
Both in your body and mind. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
That makes sense. Now, what about those times when we're under pressure?
Yeah.
Can routines really help us stay calm when the stakes are high?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that's when routines become even more crucial.
Okay.
Think about it. When you're feeling the heat, your mind tends to race, your swing can fall apart.
Yeah.
But if you have a solid routine in place, it acts as an anchor.
Okay.
It's a familiar sequence that helps ground you and helps you stay focused.
So almost like your secret weapon, your game plan to stay composed.
Exactly. A well-rehearsed routine provides a sense of control, a feeling of familiarity, and that can make all the difference in those high-pressure situations.
This has been really great. I'm starting to see how routines can be so much more than just a series of steps.
Yeah.
It's a powerful tool for building consistency, managing pressure, and ultimately, unlocking our full potential on the course.
You've hit the nail on the head. And what's even more fascinating is that the benefits of building routines extend beyond the golf course.
Oh, really? In what way?
Well, think about the discipline and self-awareness it takes to establish and stick to a routine. Those are valuable skills that you can apply to all areas of life,
right,
from your work habits to your personal goals.
So it's not just about, getting better at golf. It's about self-improvement as well.
Absolutely. It's about developing a growth mindset, understanding that you have the power to improve and become a better version of yourself, both on and off the course.
Yeah, that's a really powerful perspective. Sounds like routines are more than just a tool for improving our golf game. They're a gateway to unlocking our potential in all aspects of life.
Well said.
This has been a really remarkable deep dive. I mean, we've explored the science behind routines, the mental game of golf, and even the potential for personal growth.
It's been an incredible journey, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to take their game and their lives to the next level.
I know I am. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with a final thought. So if you could make just one small change to your pre or post-shot routine today, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question to think about.
Yeah. We often think about routines as these big, elaborate things.
Right.
But like you were saying, even small adjustments can make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's not about complexity, it's about intentionality.
Yeah, even just taking a deep breath before you swing, or
Hmm.
maybe even acknowledging a good shot can shift your mindset
Right.
and create like a more positive experience on the course.
And those small shifts in mindset, they can have a ripple effect, impacting not just your performance, but also your enjoyment of the game.
It's so easy to get caught up in frustration when things aren't going your way,
Exactly.
right? But focusing on these positive routines, you can kind of like train your mind to stay focused
Yeah.
and resilient when you face those challenges.
You're giving yourself that sense of control, which
Yeah,
can boost your confidence and keep you calm under pressure.
exactly. Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
We've covered so much. I mean, the science behind routines, the mental game of golf, even the potential for personal transformation.
Absolutely. It's been an amazing exploration.
It has.
And I hope our listeners are inspired to uh, take their game and their lives to the next
I
level.
know I am. To all our listeners out there, get out on that course,
Yeah.
experiment with your routines, and, most importantly, have fun with it.
And remember, even the smallest change can make a big difference.
Right?
Choose one thing, commit to it, and just watch your game transform.
That's it for our deep dive into the power of golf routines. Thanks for joining us, and happy golfing.